I love you.
Gentlefolk, ladies and men, we're glad to have you here again. So please, won't you come on in and sit with us here on the couch? I don't know how long I'm going to keep that intro going. I might have to scrap it and start doing something new.
Yeah.
But I am the Green Traveler from Gorge. Why don't you let us know in the comments if you like that, if you like the intro, if I should go back to doing something new every day. Yeah.
Well, you do it in a new way every day.
I do try, but I'm running out of ideas. There's not a lot of room for imagination to bounce around in this head.
Well, you don't have to do it new every single time. You can just do it flat, and you could do it real quick. You can learn how to say it real quick.
Yeah, just like that was the whole thing in 1/2 of a second.
And then after that point, when you want to do it goofy, you can.
That's true. Yeah. I could do it like Robin Williams from Good Morning Vietnam.
Right.
Gentlefolk.
That would be that'd be something.
Absolutely horrendous and disrespectful to a great man.
I'm the Faceless Leon, and this is Green Faces on the Couch, a podcast about movies and TV. Woo!
Woohoo! We got a very special new playlist coming at your way. I'm in a gripey mood. I'm in I'm kind of in a lashing out, claws out mood. We reached out to you, lovely couch potatoes, for advice on our next playlist that we should do, and we got one response.
This is the response, I guess.
This is the response. Yeah, we're stuck with it. And I'm not mad that we only got one person. I'm just saying that y'all have a voice too. You can help out. You can pitch in ideas. You can toss ideas our way. And if you want to help out financially too, which you have a better chance at tossing ideas our way, you can head to patreon.com/greenandfaceless. That is where this idea came from. I believe was from my mother, a lovely fan.
It was over Facebook, I believe, but I think she did it on both accounts actually.
Right. And I don't know if if this was just a specifically Patreon choice, was it? I can't remember if we opened it up to the masses or if it was just Patreon only.
This was everybody. Anybody could jump in on this. Yeah. So we'll let you know. We'll do this again. We're gonna jump back into our Disney playlist, but maybe we should have pitched it on the show. I don't know if I did.
Maybe we should.
I don't know if we did. I can't recall.
That's actually the better way to approach it. It wasn't our potatoes' fault. It was our fault for not marketing it well enough.
Yeah. Hey, we got stuff on pages.
Yeah. we put stuff out on the internet, but
we don't put stuff on that often. We're really bad at this. But we enjoy it, so we hope you.
Yeah, we need to incorporate. We need to bring in a social media coordinator. We need to bring in a marketer, somebody to help us promote everything going on.
Right.
We need a producer. We need somebody to just run the show while we just gab.
That would be good. Someone
for free. We don't make money right now.
Edit it for us, that'd be good. Because we're doing
that'd be
it,
nice
and
too.
I think we do an okay product, but it probably could be better.
Oh yeah, it definitely could be better. I mean, there's a lot that we want to improve on in the future. We've just been very limited with time, with money, with equipment.
Right.
But
and it's the we know everybody's kind of hitting on hard times too. So if you want to find other ways to support the show, you could rate us on Apple Podcasts or something.
Exactly.
That would really help spread the show.
And I'm not feeling at all demoralized or anything. I did a whole blog for 12 years where I had 10 readers for all 12 years. I don't need the attention. I don't need your applause. I don't need your love and everything. I just love to have it.
Well, we're talking about the Bourne identity today.
We are the new playlist, Jason Bourne. we reached. This is really where I'm at. Is we reached out to the masses and we got one idea, and I'm happy we got one idea. That always makes me feel happy.
That's not quite accurate. I do want to give our audience a little bit more credit than that, because we did get a couple ideas that were not put on the internet. But
gotcha.
And they did give us an idea for something that we're thinking about doing next year.
Yeah, that's true. We have received some in-person ideas. That is true. I don't want to discredit those ideas. They came at me. They came at me less like ideas for our new playlist to do this time, and more as future ideas. So I wasn't taking them as like
it kind of
part of this
in the conversation.
Gotcha. Yeah, and the only reason I'm gripey though is the one choice we got are spy films. And if you've been following us from the beginning, if you have, Jason Bourne, I will be honest, Jason Bourne is a different type of spy film. It is or spy film franchise, really, and one that I am far more interested in than most spy franchises or films. But it's just hilarious going all the way back to the beginning. It's just like we threw the idea out there because we're like, let's not go back to James Bond yet. We're not really feeling spy action film. And then my mom comes in with this idea and she's like, spy action film. And I was like, fuck, we should have just done James Bond. That's not true at all. I like this more than James Bond, and I know a lot of people might hate that. They might grate on some people's nerves. They might love Bond far more than Bourne. But this is the real JB, damn it. This is the one that feels more like a spy. 007 JB, he's just a womanizer.
He is 006, yeah. So okay, you said JB, but
007 JB.
But not
Jason Bourne.
JB.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a confusing way of shortening their names, just the JBs.
So not British JB. American.
Nah, not oh yeah, I guess he was British, wasn't he? He was stationed in Paris. I completely forgot that.
What? No, he's American.
Oh no, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm getting lost in it too. James Bond is Oh shit. Well, let's tackle it. Let's get into it. Bourne Identity. All the way back in 2002.
It is supposed to be a play on words. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
So,
well, they're based on novels that I own by Robert Ludlum, and I read half of the first one when I was younger and could not get into it. That was like one of the beginning of my realizations that the spy genre was not for me. I watched the Jason Bourne or the Bourne Identity and Bourne Supremacy and whatever the third one's called. And I watched those and I was like, oh wow, I really do like these. They're a different type of spy. I'm getting into this. And I tried to read the book, and the book is like heavy spy.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, I'm out. I couldn't get into it. It was too rough for me. But like there's something about the Bourne Identity specifically. I don't really remember the other films as much. I know I've seen all the Bourne films, including that Jeremy Renner one, which we'll talk about in a couple weeks.
Never have. So that I think that
You've never seen it?
And Jason Bourne, I haven't seen either of them.
That's fair. So Jason Bourne, the fifth one just surprised me because, and like I'm not saying surprised me in like a good or a bad way. It just surprised me that they did it.
Yeah, right.
Because it just kind of came out of the blue.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was really weird. I remember going to the theaters and being like, man, I don't know why I'm seeing Jason Bourne. Like I thought this story was done.
Right.
But
like they tried a spin-off and
yeah, I don't really know what happened. Like we'll get there and I'll research it more and hopefully we'll figure out what happened. But all the way back in 2002, Doug Liman directed this film, and Doug Liman, he is still a great action film director today. He did Mr. and Mrs. Smith, where we got Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie together for the first time, and then that beautiful love relationship there.
Yeah.
And he also did Edge of Tomorrow, which I really fucking like. That was a great one.
Hey, I just wanted to make sure that you were being like, I don't know, sarcastic. You do know that they like broke up in like a big way. Okay, good.
Yeah, that's what that's what I was saying. Yeah, it was definitely sarcastic.
Right.
That beautiful love relationship there. Yeah, I know it doesn't come across that well in audio, but yeah, I know. Yeah, it's hilarious. But
sorry about your plight.
But here we are. Oh, they're billionaires. It's all right. Fair. They have all the money. They have all the money for the psychiatrist and everything needed to help them cope. True. Here with Bourne Identity, we have greatest spy in the world, most likely. It's questionable. Jason Bourne. He wakes up. Yeah, played by Matt Damon, way back in his youthful, still great. I mean, he's still great. I don't know why I said still great, but youthful. Like he was still emerging. Like he had already emerged, and people knew the fuck out of him because he was amazing. But this is still one of those roles that was just like, holy fuck, dude can do action amazing too. And he's a spy. He wakes up in the middle of the ocean with a bunch of bullet holes in his back. He's got bullets in there. Fishermen pull him out of the waters. Like a surgeon on a boat or whatever finds a bank address or a bank account number.
Yeah, he pulls it out of his hip.
Yeah, he pulls this tiny little chip that flashes a light on the wall and it shows a bank account number and just complete confusion. They don't know who the fuck this guy is. The problem is he wakes up, he doesn't know who the fuck he is either.
Right.
No idea. Complete amnesia about himself. He remembers all these different languages. He's able to converse with the people on the boat, which surprises him a little bit. When he gets on land, he's able to speak English pretty well. These skills, this level of knowledge just comes to him naturally.
Right.
And it almost scares him. You can see that it's concerning to him because he doesn't know who the fuck he is, and yet he's got an absurd amount of skill.
Yeah, and it is really what makes the story interesting. Is
exactly
all these things that his body just has muscle memory of. And I thought it was a really interesting, for the novel standpoint, a really interesting writing exercise to talk about this guy that just is learning who the fuck he is by kicking ass, and he doesn't know how he knows it. I really got to thinking. I got in this loop of thinking about muscle memory versus long-term memory and how it's in different parts of the brain, and maybe there's other memories and they're stored in other parts of the brain. I can't watch anything like a normal person. It just goes.
You just
places.
spin off into tangents.
Yeah.
Right. And that's great though. That's imagination is what it is. It's the beauty of imagination.
It's imagination.
And I do the same thing, and I kind of have to push myself into a bit of dissociation with it, because when I watch this, I go at it from the scientific standpoint. Is this possible? Is somebody able to completely forget themselves and still be able to do all this kind of crazy shit like this? And I haven't done the research. I don't fucking know. I'm not a brain doctor, but how they pull it off is amazing to see. It's a lot of fun to watch this spy discover that he is a deadly weapon.
Right.
And, he all he knows is that he has 1,000 passports, a shit ton of money, and just an absurd amount of skill. And
several names.
And several names, yeah. I don't know why he, attaches himself to the Jason Bourne name. I think they imply that it is his real name, but...
So... At least with that bank box, the top shelf was all Jason Bourne. The bottom shelf was all the alias, the other names.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I don't think that, and it might even be mentioned in another movie.
I believe it is.
I believe Jason Bourne's just his current most secure alias. If somebody were to get a hold of him as one of these other aliases, they'd probably link back to Jason Bourne, who is nobody, probably.
Yeah, and as you said, that's the beauty of this movie. It's even though it's a spy film, even though there are giant chunks of this film where my brain does shut off because it starts becoming a spy film.
Yeah,
I'm still riveted by that identity crisis, by this guy, Chris Cooper who plays the government agent that's like in charge of him, that's trying to track him down and stop his in a way his error, Chris Cooper's error, because he calls James Bond a malfunctioning weapon, like a $6 million malfunctioning weapon for the government. And it's the fucking truth. Like, you kind of look at it from all the viewpoints. It's like, what other options are available to them as spies? This man, he didn't really complete his mission, I think. I can't remember exactly.
He didn't complete his mission, and he went... he disappeared.
Rogue.
They thought he died. So when he showed up again, they thought he had went rogue.
Exactly. And he's just a huge liability. So they start sending other spies out to kill this guy because they think he's rogue or something. They don't know what's going on because he hasn't reported in. Why
would you have the contingency that they lost their memory?
Right, exactly. There might be like buried deep into the rule books and the footnotes and everything.
Why would that be your first guess, though? Too
exactly.
It's in so deep into the secret folds of America's intelligent fat.
Yeah,
that you don't know who's dirty.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, your first thought most likely would be dude's flipped script.
Yeah.
And so that they start sending other assassins out, one to finish his job, and then others to find and kill Jason Bourne. And his job was to assassinate a leader in another country, which I do not remember the country's name.
I don't remember. At all. But he was an ex-leader who was trying to get back into power. He's an exile.
Yeah, and the CIA didn't want that. I don't know if I should say CIA. The American government didn't want that, and through this spy organization, they sent Jason to kill him, and that the ex-leader was Adewale Akinwumi Agbaje. I'm so sorry. I stumbled over that second half of that name so badly. I'm so sorry. But that is who he is sent to assassinate. You learn through flashbacks why he failed his job and how he became to have amnesia, to how he became the beginning of the story at the very least. But getting to that point is just watching Matt Damon or Jason Bourne run from this team of assassins that are out to kill him. And how he outmaneuvers them, how he outfights them. There's a lot of great action scenes throughout this whole film, and Matt Damon throughout the entirety of it is just incredible fun to watch.
Yeah, because he plays off like this just normal person, which, I mean, what do I say here? So he plays off just like there's nothing wrong, except for that he almost strangles to death the first guy he sees. But that in that situation, anybody could do that, right?
Right.
It just depends on that person's state when they awaken. So
yeah,
it just plays out like he doesn't think that he's this superstar killer. He just thinks that he's an average Joe, and then, boom, starts killing cops.
Well, he doesn't kill them. He incapacitates them and pulls their guns apart, which is hilarious when he does that, too, because he, with two swift moves, he, pulls an entire gun apart, and you could see in Matt Damon's eyes, he's looking at it like, how the fuck did I do that?
Right.
And that's kind of where the beauty of Matt Damon's acting is in this, is in his face and his facial expressions. Because in that scene with the cops, too, one of the cops swings a nightstick at him, and he just grabs it quickly, and you can just see all the calculations going through Matt Damon's face when he does that. He's like, first off, how the fuck did I just do that?
Right.
Secondly, I know precisely how to take this guy out with five moves, and he does that, and you could see that going through Matt Damon's face where he's just like, how do I know this? Fuck it, I'm going to act on it.
Right.
And it's just, that's the whole film is just watching him. He has this moment in the diner scene. He comes across, I don't remember the character's name, but he comes across Franca Potente. She is at the bank with him when he first goes to discover his identity with the safety deposit box and everything. And he utilizes her anger with the transaction that he witnesses at the bank.
Right.
And then he utilizes that anger to make her into an escape vehicle. But like that sounds so bad. Like he's manipulating her.
No,
I mean he is manipulating her
a little bit, but I mean he does straight up pay her, and he doesn't he doesn't straight up say, "Hey, there's some people I don't know who the fuck they are after me," but it's pretty obvious that he's hiding from it, and she definitely knows. Like Marie, you said played by Franca, she can see this. She is smart. I think she's honestly a pretty capable character, which I have to applaud this movie for, that their leading lady, she does eventually at some point have that quick switch, but I think it's a lot more justified than it is in other movies.
Well, it's exciting too. Like everything that she has, it's exciting and believable. Right. Because she's like a nobody, she's one of us, just a normal person, just trying to go about her day. She just got her own frustrations in her own life. Yeah. And then this guy comes out of the blue with cops chasing after him, and he's beating the shit out of people with like 2 punches and they're on the ground unconscious. And he offers her like, what was it, $20,000 to drive him to Paris or somewhere.
Yeah. And I think I forget where they were.
I think they were in Paris and then were driving somewhere else, but I can't remember.
No, they went to Paris because his house was in Paris. But I thought they were not in France. But Europe is like the US, so you can get to anywhere in a day.
Not to be a stereotypical, they might have been in Switzerland with banks and everything.
Maybe, I don't know. But listen, dude, that's Hollywood though, so it could.
Right. They're like, where would a spy have a shit ton of money stashed? Switzerland. I knew it.
Oh, fuck.
But yeah, she is a great character, and I feel like the switch, her falling a little bit for Jason Bourne. I feel like, as you said, yeah, a little bit, all like falling hard. I feel like it's justified here though, because it is a very exciting presence in her life, and it's over the course of a couple of days or so. But like, come on, like if a woman entered my life, stole me away, and is like, brutally beating people up, but at the same time she's very charismatic and very kind to me, and like she actually has a genuine interest.
That's what justifies it for me, is that he is very kind to her, and sees that she is competent and trusts her to do certain things. However, he does have some moments where he is barking at her, but obviously he does have a certain level of training. However, like, I don't know, it's just what that part to me seemed just a little slightly dated, but it's not bad though either.
It's also you also have to remember too that it's only a couple days that they're together, right? And then at the very end when they reconnect, we don't see where that goes. It could just be like 2 more days of happy romance. I mean, we see where it goes in the next film. But right now we don't see where that goes, and it's like, it could just be 2 more days of like hot sex, and then they're just like, we're probably not compatible, are we? We should probably go our separate ways.
Maybe we're wartime concierges.
But it feels a little justified for me though, because he is nice, and if I were in her situation and it was a very attractive female spy doing the same thing to me,
right?
Yeah, I'd fall for that.
If it was Matt Damon, I'd probably too. I mean, what the fuck?
I definitely would. Yeah, well, not with his mullet hair that he has in The Last Duel, the movie that came out this year. If he has a mullet. Nah,
no thanks.
Yeah.
No, he had nice hair for this one, I thought.
Yeah, he did.
So
he's very handsome.
And I just really like Marie. I think she's a good character, but once it does become a relationship between them, and like you said, this is over a course of a couple days, which that part's weird to me, but that's all movie magic, and it's in every fucking movie, so what the fuck?
Exactly.
Why do I always do that? I always derail myself.
I didn't forget where you're going with it.
I do it all the time. Do you recall what I was saying?
I mean, it was just about the movie magic of love.
Yeah, that was the last thing I said. I remember that.
I know. But I mean, that's all you were talking about. Was all I was saying. I was like, you were just talking about that relationship, and then you derailed yourself with the movie magic.
Once it was a consistent part of the movie, it felt a little Stockholm syndrome-y. Just a little. But that he does pay her money to do this, and then he does give her plenty of options to get out.
Yeah, that's a nice thing too.
And she stays.
Yeah, he definitely has a genuine interest in not getting her hurt.
Right.
He wants to, he needed to get somewhere. He used her to get him there, and he does want her, as you said, to get out. Right. He's trying not to get her in trouble. He's like, go to the police, tell them what happened. They'll believe you. Well, maybe after a little while they'll believe you, but he's trying to get her out of the game. It's interesting how that plays into effect, how he has to start accommodating for her, to survive himself. And it's just a nice little, it throws in some good obstacles. It throws in a good, mysterious, vague backstory with Treadstone, this spy organization that he's part of.
It's so deep underground that Brian Cox, who plays Ward Abbott, he is the one who basically gave it its inception, but he doesn't want to know anything about it. That's how deep intelligence it is.
Is he the older, heavier set guy with that deep voice kind of thing?
Right, exactly. Yeah. And I really enjoy Brian Cox, but he's not always in the greatest of projects. But I think he's a great talent that's just not used enough.
And this franchise, I believe, uses him a lot more as the next movies go on. But here the main link to Treadstone is that Chris Cooper, actor Chris Cooper.
Conklin,
thank you. And his is like the only. I really loved his performance in this. He does a great job, but his character is the only one, like the aspect of this movie that I fall on. Because whenever his character comes in is when it becomes a spy film. Right, it's when my brain kind of shuts off. And he does a great job, but that's just like, that was the symbol for me that I was like, all right, brain can stop.
There's some interesting dialogue in those scenes that's kind of like, man, what are they writing? What is going on? But they acted out so well that you don't even notice. And I think that's another reason why my brain kind of shuts off, is because they kind of talk a little bit of nonsense. But they you don't, if you give somebody a script like that, I feel like nowadays you're not going to get a good scene out of it. But they did it. And it's a good scene. It just doesn't really matter to what the audience cares, I feel like.
Right. Yeah, I feel like that's a lot of the spy parts of this film and spy movies in general. There's a lot of things that it's just like, this could be a red herring, that could be a red herring. Here's a lot of spy lingo and spy jargon. Look, toys in the form of weapons. And it's just like, oh, this is great.
Oh, did you see that gadget? Oh, boy.
I don't think, honestly, there's much more for me to talk about. I do want to mention two other characters I enjoyed a lot. Julia Stiles, she comes back more prominently in other films also, but she has a small bit in this movie that's, it's setting it up. It's nice. It's fine.
I don't know. I thought she was the Conklin's contact in France, but I don't know. I thought they would have done better maybe to even get someone who was French. I don't know. She just felt kind of out of place.
Yeah, even Matt Damon is he's their agent in Paris or something like that.
It's true, but
he's American too.
Yeah, he is American, but I feel like her French could be also very good. Yeah. I'm not going to give her credit, I guess, from what I'm saying. She could have such an impeccable French accent that she fits right in. Who knows? Her name is Nicolette, so...
I feel like with Matt Damon, like his character could come off as like an American student,
right?
You know,
sure.
Jason Bourne, like when he's posing in France, like Jason Bourne could come off, you know, looking a little bit like that foreign exchange student. And I don't get that feeling from Julia Stiles. It definitely feels like a weird choice to have as your Paris contact.
Right. She's like, I don't know. It's like she was picked for the role to stick out, but then the role's not that extremely important.
Right. Yeah. She's not bad in this. It's just you know, doesn't feel utilized right now.
Yeah. Right.
Just kind of there.
Exactly.
The other character I wanted to mention is a very young Clive Owen. He plays one of the spies that's coming after Jason Bourne.
The Professor.
Yeah.
Is always billed as.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's his like daytime job. That they show him like teaching piano or something to a kid. I remembered I'd seen all these movies. This one a long time ago when I was younger.
Right.
And I didn't realize it was Clive Owen when I saw the cast list. The cast was appearing at the beginning of the movie. It said like and Clive Owen. I was like, Clive Owen, and immediately I knew which character he was. But I was like, holy fuck, that was Clive Owen.
Right. And that's definitely what happened to me with Adewale.
Right, same thing with him too. I saw his name pop up. I'm like, I know that name. It's hilarious when you return to movies like that you'd only seen as a kid or as a teenager, and it's like no knowledge of films or whatever, and you get back to him, it's like, oh, yeah, it's so fun.
And I thought he did a really good job playing Wombase too,
Adewale.
And I thought that could have been a pretty interesting political element to the story. But I don't think they went into it enough to make it feel like it paid off. Yeah,
they got rid of that story as fast as they could, it seems.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because Adewale is really good.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. And so is Clive Owen. Like, I really fucking love that character because he is so subtle. They don't focus on him at all until, like, I mean, they focus on him and the fact that they cut to him committing an action, you know, committing an assassination or doing something else. They'll cut to this character throughout the movie until you get to the final act when it's Clive Owen v. Matt Damon. It's those two spies going up against each other. And there's just a nice moment between him and Matt Damon in that final confrontation scene where he has this like bit of dialogue where you kind of feel for his character. You feel like it's a very tragic end for this person that you don't know anything about. Like, and it's just how it's how Clive pulls it off.
Right. You do know that he has built some sort of life outside of this assassination gig. So I could imagine, I mean, who knows how long he gets in between missions, and he probably gets a long enough break to feel like teaching is his normal job.
Yeah, it's a very, very heart-moving moment between them. And it's one of my favorite aspects of this film is that final, like that whole third act is just fast-paced. There's so much that happens. And then like right after that, you have the confrontation between Matt Damon and Chris Cooper, and Chris Cooper's like henchmen, the agents who are following him. Right. So many different action scenes that happen so quickly at the end that just leave you, I don't know if wowed is the right word, but at the very least entertained.
Yeah, I'm entertained at the end of this movie, I'll say.
And I guess that's kind of my closing statement on it, honestly, is it's a very entertaining film, good action, great performance from Matt Damon. I really love him as Jason Bourne in this one.
Agreed.
Same with Franca Potente, or Potente. I really enjoyed her performance as well. She makes a very good companion character for Jason throughout the whole movie. Mm-hmm. And I give it 3 stars. It's a very good start. Very good start.
I give it a full face. Very, very entertaining movie. I'm not a huge spy film fan, and we'll talk more about why this particular franchise gives me a headache later. But it's not because of this movie.
Yeah, this one is nice and smooth.
Yes, this one's nice and smooth. That's a good way to put it. Nice and
smooth.
We'll talk about that next week. So I think that's been our show.
I think it has been. I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh.
And I am the Faceless Leon. Safe travels, and good night. Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of Fiction Works 19. If you like the show, please show your support by rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. Like, follow, subscribe, wherever you might listen. We also now have a Patreon account. If you feel so inclined to support us in a financial manner, please become a patron by visiting patreon.com/greenandfaceless. You can also find more information about us on our Facebook account or on the FictionWorks19 Instagram account. Thank you so much for listening.